Sir Keir Starmer is under pressure to dismiss his Attorney General following controversial remarks that compared calls to exit the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, to the rise of Nazism. Lord Hermer was compelled to apologize on Friday for his clumsy comments, which equated politicians advocating for leaving the ECHR to legal experts in 1930s Germany who dismissed international law and human rights in favor of state authority. Hello viewers, welcome to UK Pancakes. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications bell so you don't miss any insides about UK elites. In response to backlash from Conservative and Reform MPs, a spokesperson for Lord Hermer stated that he recognized his clumsy choice of words and expressed regret for making such a reference, as conveyed in an apology issued by Downing Street. This controversy, which targets the Conservatives and Reform, poses a significant challenge for Sir Keir, particularly as it arises just days before the Scottish Parliament by-election in Hamilton, Larkhall, and Stonehouse, where Nigel Farage's party is set to contest Labour, following their significant gains in local elections. Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative leader specifically criticised by Lord Hermer, is calling for his dismissal, although the Prime Minister has expressed full confidence in his Attorney General. Mrs. Badenoch, who has suggested she might consider leaving the ECHR if it isn't reformed, stated, "From failing to fight the case against NICAP to advising the government to relinquish £30 billion and our territory in the Chagos Islands, Lord Hermer has repeatedly demonstrated poor judgment. Now he's labelling those who disagree with him as Nazis. This is not just embarrassing, it's dangerous. Hermer lacks an understanding of government. He supports the rule of lawyers over the rule of law. If Keir Starmer had any courage, he would dismiss him. But will he risk upsetting his old friend and former donor? I doubt it." Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, who supports leaving the ECHR, remarked, "An apology is something, but the damage to our country persists. Hermer epitomizes this failing government." Robert Jenrick, the Shadow Justice Secretary who also advocates for exiting the treaty, commented, "Lord Hermer's disgraceful smear reflects the complete disregard Labour has for those concerned about border security. He is a liability and cannot be trusted to protect Britain's interests. Starmer hasn't dismissed him because he shares his anti-British, hard-left ideology." The situation has raised concerns among Labour backbenchers as well. Senior Labour MP Graham Stringer noted, "I believe it was a mistake to appoint someone with no clear political experience to a high-ranking cabinet position. Such blunders are to be expected from inexperienced politicians. If you can join international treaties, you can also withdraw from them. There are established processes for that." His remarks were extreme and unwise. Lord Hermer, who lacks a political background, is a friend of the Prime Minister and was granted a peerage to enter Parliament after Labour's victory in the general election last year. He has already been criticised for potential conflicts of interest stemming from his past role as a human rights lawyer, which included representing Gerry Adams. His apology came shortly after a minister came to his defence. Catherine McKinnell, the Education Minister, stated that he had delivered a quite thoughtful speech about international law, and told Times Radio, discussing a withdrawal from international law only benefits those who favour a lawless world. However, his remarks are reported to have caused tension within Sir Keir's cabinet. One source told The Times that his comments were the kind of thing you might expect from a campaigning human rights lawyer, but added that such behaviour is unacceptable in government and reveals a lot about him. In his speech on Thursday, he criticised the Conservatives' pick-and-mix strategy regarding treaties and agreements, contrasting it with Labour's policy of progressive realism, which he described as the government operating within the boundaries of international law. He argued that their approach represented a rejection of the siren song that suggests Britain can disregard the constraints of international law in favour of sheer power. This is not a new narrative. The assertion that international law is acceptable as long as it suits our needs but can be ignored when circumstances change was made in the early 1930s by realist legal scholars in Germany, particularly Carl Schmitt, whose main argument was that state power is what truly matters, not law, he stated. Due to the consequences of what transpired after 1933, Visionary individuals reformed and revitalized the institutions of international law as well as domestic constitutional law. Mr. Schmidt, who became a member of the Nazi Party in 1933, is regarded as an authoritarian conservative theorist and was a prominent critic of parliamentary democracy and liberalism. His theories on state power provided ideological support for the regime, but he eventually fell out of favor and was ousted from official roles. A spokesperson for Lord Hermer commented, "The Attorney General delivered a speech defending international law, which is essential for our security, protects against threats from aggressive nations like Russia, and helps combat organized immigration crime." He dismisses the Conservatives' interpretation of his speech but admits that his choice of words was awkward and expresses regret for making that reference. During a lecture at the Royal United Services Institute, a think tank focused on defense and security, he stated that the Labour government follows a policy of progressive realism, which ensures it will always adhere to international agreements like the ECHR. Many prominent politicians on the right have urged Britain to withdraw from the convention after it halted deportation flights to Rwanda. Lord Hermer remarked that such songs have been heard in the past, referencing Nazi ideologist Carl Schmitt, who backed Hitler's actions, including the night of the Long Knives assassinations. Thanks for watching till the end. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. We hope to see you in our next UK Pancakes.